A concept that I learned as I was going through my dark night of the soul was that the same way that I was able to anchor my reality into I am a spiritual being having a human experience, and earth is a school in which I come to experience certain things and to evolve, overcome those obstacles, overcome those lessons. That is that's the goal of the game. The game is to go through the pain and the suffering and alchemize it and turn it into something good. Bring it into the light of consciousness and take out the lessons out of it, take out the experiences out of it, take out the learning portion out of it and use it for later on in the future, right? And so with that, I was introduced to the concept of as a child of God, we are generators, operators, and destroyers. So we can choose in which part we want to partake in. Do we want to be generating? Do we want to be operating? Do we want to be destroying, right? And so in the beginning of my journey, when I started my the dark night of the soul, it looked like a lot of destruction. The reason being that the facade of a life that I was living needed to crumble in order for a new one to be rebuilt. And so I I reflected on that last night because I was speaking about which side of the wheel do we want to be on, right? Because our actions have consequences. And if we continue to repeat cycles over and over again, we are choosing which side of the wheel we want to be on, right? Do we want to keep repeating cycles and continue to reap what we sow? Because the same way that we choose to do that, we can also choose to overcome that and not repeat those same cycles and open up our path to be on the prosperous side of the wheel, where we're bringing in that which we want into our reality. So we have absolute control of how to overcome that, how to get to that side. And I wanted to bring out that option because sometimes we forget that we have free will, that we can choose, and that although it may look like we cannot sometimes, we always can. And a lot of the things that keep us stuck and keeps us in that loop of like, no, I can't do this, this is my mother, this is my father, this is my brother, this is where I work, is because we get attached to these titles. This is why it's so important that we detach from the programming, because what's happening is that as we remain attached to these titles, we remain stuck. And what I've learned is that these titles, most of the people in our lives, when we are trying to move forward, the people who are attached to these titles are placed in our reality to keep us stuck. That is their purpose. Now, are they consciously doing it? Who knows? That's not for us to be digging into it. Like, are you consciously doing this, or are you being used by the enemy because you're so low vibrational? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is what you choose to do with that. If you know that in your life you have somebody that's always keeping you stuck, that every time you're making progress they come in and they tear it down, remove them. And I take my own advice when I say that because I'm guilty of it as well, right? Now, the only difference with me is that today I'm able to identify it and say, hey, maybe don't do that again, right? Because you already know how that worked out the last 100 times that you did it. And that's the goal of the game. Now, for me, it took me a long time. It took me a while, right? Now I know better. And then other people, they might not have to.